What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hit Me Barbecue. And the other day I was talking to somebody that I used to hang out with when we were living in San Diego, and we were talking about some of the restaurants that were kind of around there that we liked. And one of them was a restaurant called Pollo Loco. And I really wasn't a huge fan of it, but that was like one of his favorite places. So I said, you know what? Let me come up with an El Pollo Loco inspired chicken recipe. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am making some changes, but you know what? In the description box, I'm going to put a link to the recipe that I saw that seemed to be kind of considered an authentic El Pollo Loco recipe. So I don't know, but this is going to be awesome. Come in, take a look at what I'm working with. We'll get this going. One of the things that I really didn't like about El Pollo Loco was that, to me, it seemed like the flavors were a little bit bland. So I'm going to be kind of changing it up a little bit. What I'm going to be using here is some limeade. They typically will use a pineapple or orange juice. We have some thyme, cumin, oregano. I just have some additional chipotle peppers we're going to add in. Onion powder, coriander, turmeric. Now what they use in their recipe is some yellow food coloring. I'm figuring turmeric will do better than the food color. Maybe not give you the yellow look quite as much, but some more health benefits in there. I have some habaneros that have been dried out that I'm going to use. Some minced up or diced up garlic. And I have some diced up serrano peppers. We're also going to be using some apple cider vinegar. I believe they use white vinegar in their recipe. The chicken that I'm using, those of you that are into barbecue know what spatchcocking is. For those of you that don't know, basically what you do is you take some kitchen shears or a knife and you cut the breastbone and the backbone out of the chicken so it lays flat like this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start getting this marinade ready, and it's going to go in the refrigerator overnight. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my pot that I'm going to have it marinating in, and I'm going to take a few of these habanero peppers and then just kind of crush those up. And just add these are serrano peppers, my garlic, now like I said, we're going to be going with turmeric for the color, so let's go a little heavy on that. Our coriander, I'm not measuring anything out, I'm trying to pump this up a little bit because the recipe I saw was basically adding a little of this and a little of that, and it didn't seem like it was going to get enough flavor for me. So I'm kind of winging this, but I am using their recipe as a guide with a few changes and adding more stuff. Chipotle peppers, you know what, I just had that left over, so let's just add some of that. Our cumin, or excuse me, my oregano. And when it comes to marinades, it does not need to be exact. You do not need to be exact when it comes to marinade. Just try to get the flavor in there. That's the main thing we're trying to do. And our cumin. Think about just using that whole bottle almost. So there's that. We're going to be going with, I'm going to go with half of this limeade. I might use the rest for a barbecue sauce or something coming up. Set that aside. Now, let's go with some vinegar. This is going to be about a 1/4 cup of vinegar and some water. We're going to stir this in. Now once I get this to the level I want, I'm going to throw it on the stove. So that's going to be about a quart of water, about a 1.5 quart of water. I'm going to get this on the stove, bring this up to a simmer, shut it off. And the reason I'm going to do that is to get all these flavors kind of coming out. This is just about to come up to a simmer, and I just realized that I forgot to add some canola oil. So we're going to go with, let's call that a 1/4 cup maybe a little less than that. And I forgot my salt. I'm not going to be afraid of that. Let's call that about 4 tablespoons. So that's coming up to a boil right now. We're going to shut this down as soon as it starts simmering. And once it cools, we'll meet back. Marinade's had a chance to cool. I tasted it, and trust me, this is a seriously hot marinade right here. So now we're just going to go ahead and drop this chicken in there. It's about 9 o'clock at night. We're going to probably start grilling this at about 3 o'clock tomorrow. So it's going to have a good long time to sit in that marinade. Chance to sit in this marinade for about 24 hours. I'm going to go ahead and set this over here and let this let some of that liquid run off of it. I'm going to go get this Weber fired up and meet you outside. This chicken on the grill, I'm going to take it till we get to 165 degrees. And I'm going to have this grill trying to get up close to 300, 325 degrees. It does look like that turmeric did add some color on that. Hopefully it's not too much color, but I guess we'll see in a bit. Just probed this chicken. We are at 165, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And take it inside. It should be time to cut this thing up and see if it tastes as good as it looks. Final product, so we have our chicken. It does look like we did get that nice yellow coloring from the turmeric, so I'm happy about that. We have some refried beans, some cilantro, lime rice, just some quick guacamole, nothing special. And then I have some salsa, roasted salsa I made with our tortilla. I'll go ahead and take off some of this chicken breast and maybe some of this. Actually, you know what? Let's get this drumstick meat in here with the skin, because the skin is all crispy. Boom. That'll work. Get some of these beans, some guacamole, and some of that rice, and a little salsa. You know, let me taste this chicken first before I taste it with all that other stuff on it. Definitely, from what I remember, more flavor than what I remember at El Pollo Loco. I did pump up that marinade, so that was like, I got a bunch of serious stuff in that. But as far as the color looks good. You know, I could take another bite, but let me get into this tortilla real quick. So like I said, I was inspired to make this by El Pollo Loco. I'm not saying that this is their recipe. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is much better than their recipe. The chicken has much more flavor than what I remember. So anyway, I do like that turmeric giving me that yellow color as opposed to food coloring. Anyway, I'm going to put the link or the recipe to one of the El Pollo Loco recipes that I kind of got inspiration from in the description box. But anyway, if you like chicken, try it out. Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.